Hi, in this video, I want to go deeper into the plugins. I shot another ChatGPT Plugins video. I didn't go over all of them. I'm going to try to cover as many of them as I can, as many as my voice can hold up. I might pause to talk for a little bit because I do still have COVID. But also some of the plugins I noticed actually were working that weren't working before, specifically the Zapier plugin, and I'm going to show you as many of them as I can. So this one, it just couldn't even figure out how that one worked. Let's go back. Let's do Zapier. And we're gonna just uninstall everything so I can show you kind of from scratch. So it wants me to connect. Let me pull this window over. So it looks like I already have a bunch of actions and that I have on here. But what we can do is let's just add some new ones. And so right now there's still only 6 actions. I won't show you all of them, but what I did before was these things didn't work. I'm not going to do the Slack or the Gmail. Let's just do the Google Sheets one. I think that's the more useful one. It still wasn't working exactly correctly, and I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So enable action. Okay, so we got that one. Let's also do the lookup. Let's just have AI guess on all of these. Okay, so this should be working, and we're just going to close this now. All right, so now we've got it enabled here, and I have a sheet. Let me pull it up. Okay, so here's a sheet, Yoda-isms, and what it seems to do is it'll repeat itself when it's not supposed to. That's what the last time I did it, which was about a week ago. The first time I did it, it wouldn't do anything. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, so we have wraps is the I think they call this the sheet, and this is the worksheet. I don't remember exactly how they name it, but let's say, please add, let's see, ice cream, toast, and pickles to, kind of want to test, see if it will do it on row 6, or it'll just do the next empty row, to row 6. Actually, here, let's do row 6 in cells, in columns A, B, and C respectively. Here, I'll pause while I finish typing this. So actually, I'm going to copy this, and I'm actually going to see if I need this last part, because I believe it actually does need that last part. So let's try this. Let's see what it does. So I was not able to retrieve the information when I did it last time as well. Looks like I need to specify the worksheet. Okay, so you do need to specify that. All right. Stop generating. Let's try this again. So you do, even though there's only one sheet within the Google Sheet. Here, I'll pause. I think it's going to ask for confirmation. It's going to show me a preview of the action. Maybe a safety measure. So it's weird. It did ice cream, pickles. I could have edited it, but I just wanted to see if I just did it raw. And it didn't do it on the correct row. It just did the next empty row, which is interesting. So it's better, but because in the past I did 3 things as well. Excuse me, and it did 1 in all 3. It got a little closer at this time, but let's see. Let's try this. Now let's try. Okay, here's the next request. Let's see if it can retrieve this information. Due to a variety of the specified row being empty or the specified columns not containing any data. Yeah, that's not what we're looking for. So it isn't able to actually pull the information. So it's still not working, but again, they haven't released this publicly yet, so I'm sure that they're still testing, and it's already improved several times as I've tried it. Let's go into some different plugins. The Wolfram Alpha one, I did show that one successfully. That's probably the best one so far that I've found. Let's just try this shop one. I can't remember what happened with this one. Let's do shop. We'll turn off Zapier. Hide. All right, let's try this. I'll show you how it's doing this. It's really interesting how it gives you sort of some of the context there. I don't know how useful this is, to be honest, because I wonder if it's actually finding like the best price. It's $199. What made them pick this site over Amazon? Okay, $549. All right, maybe it's like a classic shoe, or maybe they actually did find like the best one. Oh wait. Here's, I guess this is eBay. They look newish. Oh, neat. That's kind of cool. I like this image down here. That's pretty neat. I don't see myself shopping this way. It feels like it still needs some more comparison aspects. Like maybe they pick a shoe and they find several places where you can buy that shoe and give you several options as opposed to just one option. But it's interesting. Oh, it's still running. And pause. I'm not sure why this is still running like this, because I did some other stuff for a few minutes and it seems like it's done. So we're just gonna try another one. I looked up some information on this right here, and it looks like they have, I showed this last time, they've joined the wait list. It looks like I can't even test it, so maybe they're trying to put stuff on there. But it looks like maybe OpenAI owns some of it, or maybe they just put that on there for fun. Or Y Combinator, which I guess is a major thing in Silicon Valley. And there's some more information here. I can't really use it. It doesn't actually do anything as far as I can tell. Let's try Expedia. I haven't actually tried this one yet. So, I would like to plan. All right, I'm just gonna do this. Please help me plan a trip to Hawaii in July of this year. Always helpful to be polite to the robots. Okay, so it didn't quite notice that it didn't pull from Expedia, but it did ask some questions. So maybe it's just waiting for the Expedia. What city? Let's just do Honolulu. That was actually pretty good. I wasn't quite sure. It didn't have all the information with Expedia. Let's see what it does. Pause. It is interesting that it assumed July 1st or July 4th, which is kind of weird. I didn't give it any dates. What I might be able to do is say, give it some specific dates. Let's go ahead and click through this while it's finishing that up and see what this link does. So it has a location, like a place to stay at. I don't know if it hasn't given flight information yet. It did automatically fill out the check-in, check-out. That's kind of nice. That's actually pretty useful, I think. Actually, this seems more useful than the shopping app, just because I could see starting a conversation with ChatGPT, planning a trip, asking it questions about, like, or giving it, like, this is what I kind of want in a trip. Where do you think I should go? Blah, blah, blah. And then midway through the conversation, being like, all right, find me these things. Now, would that be more, is that more efficient than, excuse me, than just doing the research yourself, asking the questions in ChatGPT, or using GPT-4 for that, and then doing your own Google searches, or just going straight to Expedia and doing the search? It's unclear. Let's see, so you can also help find flights, activities, car rentals for your trip. Actually, okay, so here was my response. So it did change it to this, but I also wanted to test to see if it could kind of handle multiple options and do kind of comparisons. And at least so far, it doesn't look like it's done that. When I click through, it does have the correct check-in, check-out times. I also wonder if there's a way to limit it to guest rating of 9 and above. I think that might be pretty useful. But I want to let it finish to see if maybe it gives additional options here, and then flight info. Okay, so all right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add another message here. All right, so can you give me only lodging options with a guest rating of 9.0 or greater? Okay, so it acknowledged the guest rating of 9.0 or greater. Let's see if it fulfills on that request. Okay, so it was successful at keeping all the guest ratings above 9, so that's good. As for flights, I'd prefer a direct flight. I think that there are some, so I'm asking if it has some. While it's getting that, there is a point I think that's important here. Is this seems to take longer than if I were just to do a Google search and kind of poke around myself. And you know, each time I ask a question, it kind of has to restart, as opposed to like if I was actually on Expedia. I do feel like this process would probably be faster. But that said, that doesn't mean that there isn't a way to improve it in the future, and that this is just kind of a starting place for it. Okay, didn't quite follow the context of the on this, because actually I returned direct flights, and maybe I should ask that again. Let's try this. Are there any direct round trip flights? Now that was faster than the hotel one. It generated that. Let's click through here. So it did look like it did it correctly. These are all one stops, so it didn't filter for non-stop. That's fine. Oh, it said flight 115. I don't really see the flight numbers on there. Okay, let's move on to something else. This seems like okay, but not necessarily an improvement over just doing it yourself through Expedia.com. So I guess this is this. We can compare Expedia to Kayak. Let's do that. And actually, what we'll do, we'll go back here, and let's copy this. Hold on. Okay, so here's our prompt. I added a little bit more specifications to it as I work through it and ask me the questions. And yeah, this will hopefully give us all the answers we need right out of the gate. Now, the way the plugin interacts with ChatGPT, some of that is up to ChatGPT, and but a lot of it is up to Kayak. So maybe their options will be better, maybe it'll be faster. But notice how it's just taking time, and this is with GPT 3.5. GPT 4 will be even slower if they integrate that into there. Okay, so I want to point out, I did ask it a lot more in one question than I did with the other one, but it's already been a couple minutes and it's still not done. It's still kind of processing this, so I'm going to pause it for a little bit longer. Interesting that there's an error in here as well. Okay, it took a while, and it does look like maybe this will be forever spinning, just like the other one. I like that it offered, so the Expedia plugin didn't do as good of a job in understanding that I wanted to look at 2 different time frames. And also I feel like the response here is much better, because instead of listing out specific flights, that doesn't really make as much sense. It said, hey, there's multiple options, and if we click book here, let's see what if it's actually filtered for. So it isn't filtered for nonstop, but it does, where are the dates? Let's see. It does have the dates correctly, so still better, because the other one just was unnecessarily wordy. All of these do have a 9 rating or higher, so that's good. Let's just double check. The dates are correct, and it does match. Also, the link that I clicked here for the second option is accurate, so this is good. So far, I'm liking the Kayak plugin more. I think it's better, and I feel like it's more concise. Now, maybe that has to do with the fact that I gave it a better question up front. Up in the air. I'm still questioning whether or not this, as it stands now, is more or less useful than just going to kayak.com and filtering these things out. It could be useful in the context of a conversation, but it could also just actually add more time, because it does take quite a bit of time for this to run. Now, hopefully they'll speed that up. All right, let's try another one. All right, I haven't tried open. Let's actually just uninstall these, because I don't really care. Let's try open table. All right. So I got open table selected. So, okay, so here's my prompt. I would like to eat sushi for dinner tonight in West Plano. Can you give me some recommendations, please? I do want to unpause so you can see how slow this is, even with GPT 3.5, because it is taking a long time. Right now, I would say this is a far inferior experience versus just going to Google and typing in sushi restaurant. They're not mentioning reviews. Maybe I can ask them to give reviews. And if I click through, I've never actually used Open Table. So they do have reviews. I wonder if we can ask it to list the reviews for all of the locations. It also appears to have gotten the location incorrect, because it's doing Singapore. Yeah, that's definitely not correct. Well, so there's not really a city called West Plano. It's just Plano is really big, and I live on the west side, and I was curious if it would get this right. So let's try this again. All right, I'm going to try this, see how this works. I kind of want the Google Maps location. I really don't want the open table link. I'm not trying to make reservations. Let's see if it gets it right. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is far superior to the initial response. Let's see if the Google Maps link actually works. It did a Google Maps. So it didn't actually find, this is not bad actually. It's interesting that it would, if I search this, that was still not bad. It wasn't a direct link. Let's see if this one worked. This one also did not work, but it's, it's still pretty fast. That's actually not that bad. It's convenient, so it looks like there's multiple locations. The review count isn't quite accurate. So it said 200 and 4.5. I wonder if we would need to have Wolfram Alpha integrated for that to get that exactly correct. Overall, it's okay. I think the biggest limiting factor here is really going to be the speed. It needs to be a lot faster for it to be useful. And it needs to give more comprehensive data right out of the gate instead of just listing this. Also, it was weird that it did Singapore. That doesn't really make sense, that it would pick Singapore. I did make it a lot more clear with Plano, Texas, just to do out the west. Maybe I could have said the west side of Plano, Texas, that might have gotten a better response. Okay, my voice is running out, so we're gonna have to maybe do just one more. Let's see. This one didn't really work. I'm kind of curious about that. It's really weird. Okay, I kind of want to do open Instacart and the shopping one. Let's try Instacart. All right. Okay, here we go. I did add Wolfram Alpha because it might want to calculate certain things about healthy stuff. So just in case, and let's see how it does with this. Now, it might actually be better to do the meal plan separately in GPT-4, but we want to make this as easy as possible for the user, and I do think that they will integrate this into GPT-4. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Okay, so it actually did a pretty good job. It did get the basic meal plan. I'm not sure how easy or hard these are. I'm not much of a cook. But I got 1 vegetarian, 1 salmon, and 3 chicken. It didn't really give me instructions, but that's fine. I didn't really ask for instructions. And then it asked for me to add to Instacart. Now, I don't have an Instacart account, so we'll just kind of see what happens. Maybe I'll create a free one just to test it. Okay, so actually I did have an old one. And I think I'm going to be able to finish all the plugins because the cough drop is working for me. Okay. So I've already logged in. Let's see, is this link the same? I'm looking at the bottom left. Okay, so it's the same link. I'll click it. I'm already logged in. This is not my actual address. So add 0 items to cart. Is it still loading? Can't quite tell. No, it doesn't appear to be still. Oh, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. Who do you usually shop for? Myself. Let's see. Let's find the cart. Come on, just stop. Okay. I mean, this is actually incredibly useful. I would rather it not use Instacart. I would rather use something else. I'm not a. It's useful. It was very useful during the pandemic, but you know, I find it to be pretty wasteful. I'd rather it just go to like Kroger to go. You know, pick up. That would be less expensive, faster, and easier. But that said, this is pretty cool. This actually is. You know, I commented on the other ones not being very useful. This is incredibly useful to just add all of this with the right quantities to create a meal plan from scratch and to just add it to the cart. I could just buy it right now and have it show up at the door, and boom. That's very, very useful and already. And I could actually see some improvements on this as well. It could, you know, there could be. You could have your preferences or something already in the app or something to like what kind of stuff you like or what kind of balance with your meals that you want, and it could just be like, all right, make me a new meal plan, and go from there. This is really, really useful and cool. Especially if I was, you know, if I used Instacart on a regular basis, which it's been a very long time since I have used it. I would love to see Kroger make an app for this, or you know, maybe Aldi's or something. There's a Kroger right next to my house, so that would be more useful, and I think it would be much less expensive and less wasteful to do it that way. But you know, this is still really, really cool. All right, let's go back here. We'll uninstall that. We'll leave Wolfram Alpha in there because it seems like sometimes that needs to be integrated. Let's check this one out. We already did a shopping app. Let's actually go to basketball shoe shopping. Let's do the same comparison there. So let's see what this gives me. This is the exact thing I did on the first one. I think it would be better to do like a prompt, and I'll build the prompt separately that involves like, you know, automatically comparing multiple places. So don't just give me a product in one place. Give me a product in 3 places where I can buy that product at a low price or for a good price or whatever. It is interesting that it's giving me some of these properties. That's pretty useful. I don't remember if the other one did that. Oh, see, but it's... Oh, okay, 10.5 is here. I'll pause and let it finish. Okay, let's see what it did. And we can also compare the results to this one. This seems a little weaker, just to be honest. I kind of like the detail. They didn't do the pictures right, so that wasn't as good. And they also just gave me a bunch of different. Let's see. I guess it's all. What is Klarna? So it's just all. Okay, so it's an aggregator. Okay. So this actually, I think, makes more sense because instead of linking directly to the different pages, it gives me a comparison, so I can actually go on here and find the lowest price. And it looks like it's $131. Did it list that correctly? $131. Okay, so this is definitely superior. I like this a lot more, and I think this is actually useful. Again, it's very, very slow, yeah, I think this is pretty interesting and has some potential. All right, let's move on. Let's uninstall this. All right, so this one didn't work. Also just seems really, really not useful at all. Access market leading real-time data sets for legal, political, and regulatory. Okay. I wonder if we can just do... Please tell me what the FiscalNote ChatGPT plugin can do. This should be a part of every plugin, and so far, actually, I don't think that they've done this. I should go test this on the other plugins as well. Okay, so it's giving us a good answer. Okay, this is interesting. So this is really weird. I guess this is this like SQL? I don't know what this is right here. Maybe somebody else knows. If you do, put it in the comments. It's about the White House calendar. Oh, this is really interesting. I have to try this on the other ones now. So let's look at like, please give me. Let's see what this is. Let's see who's doing their job and who's not. who's at work and who's playing hooky. Maybe better served with a Google search. I'm not really sure exactly what to do with this. I do feel like there's probably some usefulness to it. If you're in government news, this could give you an able to chat with it. I definitely don't see myself using it. What we're actually going to do is we're going to go in and let's do this for everything. Please tell me what the Wolfram Alpha. Let's just make sure they all can do this, because they should definitely do this. There should be a way to be like, I think the Milo one is the one that it didn't do it last time. It didn't understand what was going on. Okay, this is pretty good. About entities such as countries. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Yeah, this is one of the coolest parts. So you don't necessarily need Wolfram Alpha to do this, unless maybe it gets more up-to-date information. And maybe I guess you could have also done this with GPT-4. All right, let's try a different plugin. Let's go ahead and uninstall this one. All right, let's see if they fix this, because this was the worst performing one so far. Okay, what's it called? Milo family. The Milo family. Okay, it didn't do this correctly last time. Again, I noticed this is in alpha, and they haven't released this publicly. I have developer access. I tried to get a plugin developed in their timeline. They had like a cutoff date of April 11th, and I had just gotten access like a week before. Put my developers, I don't have a big team, but put my developers on it without trying to drop the other urgent things we had, and couldn't quite get something delivered in a week. It sounds like it was from my developers that it was a little more less straightforward than it seemed to actually create a plugin that worked fully. So good on them that that this is actually working, because it was not working before. Let's see. I'm going to read this. Okay, what's magic today? This isn't quite what... Oh. This isn't quite what the website sold it as, so it actually seems pretty different. The website more seemed like to help you manage your family. So shopping list, to-do list, schedule. That actually sounds more useful than this, because I think I just go to GPT-4 and be like, give me a fun thing I can do with my kids today. So now maybe if this includes that in there and it's better than like what GPT-4 or Google would provide, then maybe that's useful. Or maybe as part of a greater conversation it could actually be useful. But at least it passed that test we just talked about. All right, let's... Yeah, we'll gotta go through this process again. Just close action settings. We'll do Zapier. Okay. An action called conversation. Okay. I think that's pretty good enough. I'm actually just kind of curious if any of them are unable to give a response. Let's just install them all, actually. Close. This is interesting. I should probably ask this first before I did anything. It is giving some pretty good detail here, and I think some reasonable ideas on how to use these things. So we'll do Expedia. I wonder if I can ask both. They're conflicting. That's funny. This seems like a better type of response, something that doesn't seem like it's made for coders. It's something that's made for actual people to look at. This is a good response, actually. It's not too long, but not too short. It gives, and I like the numbered things. It makes it very easy to read and see what it actually does. Let's compare that to Kayak. Okay, not quite as good as the Expedia one. It's kind of giving it in like coding, this endpoint that's a coding type of reference. And it's still not terrible. All right. So far they've all been able to do that. That's good. But let's me do open table. I guess there's two different ones. What if we ask them both at the same time? Okay, this was pretty cool. It saved me a couple steps. Okay, so far they've all been able to answer that. Speak in this. this? Speak and Klarna? Klarna shopping. What? Speak and Klarna. Okay, let's see what it did here. Okay, so they all have it now. That's great, and it's actually a pretty useful thing, and maybe they can expand it over time. Okay, that's all the plugins right now. At least at this point, I know that they're trying to add some more plugins. They're still a little bit rough around the edges in some of them, and hopefully you found this helpful. I really haven't seen any information out there other than just real quick, that original video that OpenAI shot, and really not much else on what it's really like on the back end here and the experience. Overall, there's a lot of potential. It's very slow, and so I wonder if does it use the legacy? I can't remember if it uses the legacy. It's possible that it's because it uses the legacy, which is much slower than the turbo. But it's just very slow. I tried to pause it for every single one because this video would have been 3 times longer. Otherwise, it's already a pretty long video. Well, if you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And hopefully, if you've made it this far, subscribe and like and comment and send smoke signals and everything. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great day. Bye.